Hello YouTube and welcome to my new challenge. In this one, I'm finally getting the respect I deserve, because all my Pokemon are going to disobey my commands. My own starter, my breeded eggs, my entire family, this guy. Here's a simple breakdown of the disobedience mechanics. Thanks to my Pokemon's lack of respect for me, I can expect them to loaf around, ignore my commands completely, go to sleep, or something I did not know they could do before this challenge, attack themselves in confusion. Great. However, there is a small chance, less than 25% in this ROM hack that I coded myself, that they go for another random move in their moveset.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I just lost the one battle this game guarantees that you cannot lose. And just when I thought this can't get any worse, I remembered for the 100th time that I have to win the first rival battle. So, moral of the story, life can always get worse. Just from the first battle, I learned that a good strategy to use with my stupid team is
reverse psychology.
I have a higher chance of attacking the enemy Pokemon if I choose Leer instead of Pound. I lose way more than I win, but it's still progress. I tried May at level 5 and got really close, so I decided to level up to level 6 and try again. This turned out to be a mistake, because Draco learned Absorb. Now, if my Draco does decide to go for a random move, there is a 50% chance that it won't be Pound, losing me more battles and justifying my well-earned lack of respect. After several in-game hours, I was able to defeat the first rival battle. My favorite part so far is when my Pokemon wakes up from sleeping just to go back to sleep. Next we get the running shoes, and with May down, I unlock new Pokemon. Time to get my team ready for this massacre we're about to witness. I catch a Lotad with the ability Rain Dish, Ralts with the ability Synchronize, 2 Shroomish, and believe it or not, a Slack Off. I figured if my Pokemon are going to loaf around anyways, may as well pick up a Pokemon with legendary base stats. And a male and a female Skitty. I also collected all the berries I can get, since I'm not allowed to use any items, and berries can come in real handy. Oh, did I mention I'm not allowed to use in-battle items? This is fine. I picked up the TM Bullet Seed, leveled up versus trainers, and with 4 different grass Pokemon on my team, there is no way I can lose to Roxanne. Here's how I start this battle. I give an Oranberry to my Trico and my 2 Shroomish. Roxanne loves to needlessly go for defense curls with her Geodudes. This can buy me time to land Leech Seed with one of my Shroomish. It is so important to keep my Shroomish alive, so I switch if I do land one. I reset the battle otherwise. Of course, in order to get a chance of landing Leech Seed or Absorb, I go for Tackle. The more this challenge goes on, the harder it's going to be for me to land the attack that I want, unless I come up with something else. In this attempt, I got really lucky. Not only did I land Leech Seed first turn, but I was able to use Attract with Skitty, giving me a 50% chance to avoid the Geodude's attacks, which is all I need as Leech Seed takes it down. I also have the ability Q-Charm, so I could have done the same thing if Geodude chooses to use Tackle. With my low chances of attacking, I have to utilize the best abilities and movesets that I can get, if I will have a chance to beat this challenge. For her second Geodude, not only was I able to land Leech Seed, but my Ralts luckily went for Double Team. This is huge with the already low accuracy of Rock Tomb. Once again, I'm choosing my most useless move to make sure my Pokemon doesn't go for it, in the off chance that it actually does decide to attack. Finally, her Nosepath with both my Shroomish alive. It can't get any better than this. Nosepath is actually easier since it has 2 moves that don't deal damage, Harden and Block. In fact, I ended up dealing more damage to myself with Confusion than it did to me. Yes! It still takes out everyone on my team except my last Shroomish, but we take those. If I learned anything this battle is that I should add more Shroomish to my team. After beating the Team Aqua Grunt and barely avoiding a double battle, hell no! We make it to the next town. I decided to catch a couple of more disobeying Pokemon, in case I started to feel better about myself. Hey kid, come here. Worth a shot. I thought Brawly's going to be easier than Roxanne, because he has a lot of contact moves. But boy was I wrong. First of all, he has bulk up on all his team, so the longer the battle goes, the worse it gets for me. Second, his Machop has guts, so if I get it statused with effect spore, I die faster. Third and worst of all, his Meditite knows Focus Punch, which is a 150 based power move that is usually a useless attack, because as long as Meditite gets hit, the move fails. But since I rarely attack, that means a boosted physical attacker with pure power hitting me with a guaranteed 150 power move. There is just no way I can tank his attacks. So, what if I can avoid it altogether? Luckily, there is a very convenient ghost Pokemon in Granite Cave. I catch a Sableye and 3 more Shroomish, then tried battling Brawly again. Here's the plan. This time I start with Sableye first, then swap to Shroomish. Once it runs out of Focus Punch, it can't attack my Shroomish anymore. This is one of the fights where I'm happy if my Sableye falls asleep, because it guarantees that it doesn't attack itself for a few turns. In this attempt, I ended up killing it without having to switch to Shroomish, so that was nice at least. Finally, his Makuhita. Will I get lucky with my last 2 Shroomish? Yes! And on the first turn as well. Finally, I was over with this stupid battle. All I have to do now is wait for it to die, and hopefully not kill myself with confusion. You know, normally when you face a tough Pokemon challenge, you can just overlevel your team, and that would solve it. But the disobeying mechanic was introduced specifically to counter that. It is to prevent people from trading high-level Pokemon and easily beating the game with it. The Team Aqua section wasn't too bad. After several tries, I was able to defeat 1 Zubat. Next comes the worst challenge I have faced yet. I decided to try my luck versus May with my super strong Kirlia, and that obviously failed. I can defeat her first Pokemon, Wingull, but her Combusken is an absolute disaster for my rebellious team. I failed so many times to get past this battle and tried many things. I tried catching my own Wingull, but that didn't work. I got the Old Rod, the Experience Share, caught a Magikarp, and evolved it to Gyarados using rare candies, because screw the Experience Share. Ain't nobody got time for that. But that also failed. It wasn't even close. The strategy I used is swap my Gyarados in and out to lower Wingull's physical attack with Intimidate. This should almost guarantee that I defeat Wingull, unless it crits. Son of a... Intimidate does 2 things. It helps my Shroomish last longer against her Wingull's Wing Attack, and increases the chances of Effect Spore, since Wing Attack is a contact move. Her Wingull kills my first Shroomish, but it goes to sleep thanks to Effect Spore. With that advantage, I decided to bring out Gyarados. 23 turns later, I was able to barely take it out. No sweat. Now comes the raid boss, Combusken. I wanted to use my Kirlia Synchronize to try and get it burned. A brilliant plan that I'm sure you're all jealous right about now that you didn't come up with it yourself. I then remembered you can't burn fire Pokemon and turned off my PC for the night. I go back to Route 104 to catch a Marill, and let's just say I'm keeping it short for you guys, but I was stuck for so long versus May. I had a Kadabra, a Wingull, evolved my Slakoth, released my Kadabra, Taylor Swift became Person of the Year, and my dad has still not come back after going out for groceries 13 years ago. And during this time is when I found out a huge discovery. Turns out, if a Pokemon were to use a move that would get them stuck, like let's say Rollout, the game will not go through the obedience check. So until the move fails, the Pokemon will keep on attacking. I, of course, totally, completely, 100% knew about this, so yeah. Where was I? This helped me not only beat Combusken, but also her Lotad. And with that, we defeat the second rival, showing her who's boss, and earning the respect that I deserve. You, viewer, subscribe right now! God damn it. Reaching Watson is easy, I only need to defeat 1 trainer. The bad news is that he has 4 Pokemon and they're pretty strong. Luckily, there is one Pokemon that he almost can't touch, Shedinja. With only one rock move on his Voltorb, Watson can't attack my Shedinja. So, if I get a team of decently leveled Shroomish and one Shedinja, I'll need to land Leech Seed or get the non-Steel types poisoned, and live happily ever after as his team dies slowly to the stacking damage. But there is one huge problem with this plan. My Shedinja doesn't obey me, and it can easily kill itself by attacking itself once. So what I do? I throw Pokeballs at the opponent instead. This solves one issue, but there is another problem. In Gen 3, I lose the Pokeball once I throw it at a trainer's Pokemon. So, time to buy some Pokeballs. 10 at a time, in order to get the extra Premier Ball. I'm getting ready for the gym leader by buying Pokeballs. Ask me anything. This battle goes even longer than May's fight, but here are some of the things I learned. More often than not, Watson just self-destructs with Voltorb, which is something I keep wishing I could do throughout this challenge. Getting paralyzed is a good thing, because it stops my Pokemon from putting themselves to sleep. Everything about that sentence is wrong, but I'm not complaining. After so many attempts, I was able to reach his Manectric. All my Shroomish have died before I could land Leech Seed, so I have to rely on my Shedinja's attacks. And I could not believe it, but after so many tries, I was able to take down what.
One eternity later.
I eventually make it to his Manectric again, and this time I finally defeat Watson thanks to Leech Seed and like 50 Pokeballs. The more I unlock the region and gym badges, the more options I'm going to have. I clearly need to improve my strategy, or I won't have a chance to beat the game the tougher it gets. On our way to the next town, I add a few more Pokemon to my team. I catch 2 Slugmas with Flame Body, a Skarmory from Route 113, a Swablu with Nature Cure, 2 Solrocks from Meteor Falls, and the Why Not Egg. Some of these Pokemon will come in real handy later on. After losing to Team Magma an embarrassing amount of time, we finally make it to the next gym leader. Just looking at Flannery's team, I realized one important thing. I am so fucked. The plan here is to go with Azumarill and hope it decides to go for Rollout, and then when it does, Rollout goes for the max 5 turns. Fun fact, did you know that Pokemon rolls further back the screen each turn it uses Rollout? This actually worked, taking down 3 of her team and only leaves 1 Mon. But unfortunately, it's the worst one, Turkle. Alright, for this one I need to be strategic. She has 2 attacking moves, Overheat and Body Slam. Overheat will destroy my team during Sunny Day, but luckily it lowers the special attack by 2 stages each time, and it only has 5 power points. So I can make it run out of Overheat first, leaving her only with Body Slam, so I can bring out my Shedinja and it can't be touched. I then thought to myself, why not just kill the first, way easier Lumen at the start, and then kill the remaining 3 with Rollout. And that's exactly what I do. After changing my strategy, and so many tries later, I finally reached Torkoal. Will Rollout be enough? With every badge we get, higher level Pokemon gets to obey us. And since that is the 4th badge, you know what that means. Nothing, really. But we're 1 badge away from getting Surf and unlocking something huge that might make this challenge possible after all. With access to Strength and more areas unlocked, we've got some good stuff to do. I get the TM Toxic, evolved my Shroomish, coin flipped my way through the gym. Die! Or not. And I was able to make it to Norman. Time to kick his ass. Dad. Alright, let me break down this fight. Norman has 4 Pokemon, 2 of which are huge threats, while the other 2 are basically free. In Pokemon Emerald, Norman starts out with Spinda. It doesn't have a move that can attack my Shedinja, so I start the battle with Slugma and wait for Spinda to get burned thanks to Flame Body, then swap to Shedinja. This is usually straightforward and will often force Norman to switch out to his Vigoroth because he can't attack me otherwise. This is when the battle actually starts. I have to land Leech Seed or hope he gets poisoned from Effect Spore. I get Lich Seed in this attempt, but I still have to be careful. Unlike Spinda, his Vigoroth can attack my Shedinja with Feint Attack. But if I keep switching between my Breloom and Shedinja, it will keep going for the wrong attacks against the two, which helps me keep my Shedinja safe and recovers my Breloom's HP thanks to Leech Seed. Next is Slacking, and thanks to its ability Truant, it only attacks every other turn. So once I land Leech Seed, I can do the same thing. Switch between Shedinja and Breloom, but this time, I don't get hit at all. Spinda with Burn can't attack my Shedinja, so that one is easy. This only leaves his Linoone. The bad news is that it knows Belly Drum. The good news is that all its attacks are normal types. So once I land Leech Seed, or get it burned or poisoned, the battle is over, because it can't attack my Shedinja. This was actually my second time beating Norman, because I wasn't recording the first time, so I had to do it again. I'm sure you all feel bad for me right now, so go ahead and subscribe. Hey! I have feelings, you know? Alright, we have so much to do before we fight the next gym, so let's get started. Rollout should be enough to take care of the rival. Until I realized Lombre starts with Fake Out, so of course it won't be that easy. Why would it be? This man, this house, will change the challenge for me. This man, this house, will change the challenge for me. Welcome to the Move Deleter. Thanks to the Move Deleter, I can control exactly which attack my Pokemon will go for, if and when it decides to attack. Because if I only keep 2 moves and choose the first one, I know that it will go for the second move. Which is better than having a 1 in 3 chance of picking the move I want, which is what I've been dealing with since the beginning of this challenge. I bought 3 Neo keyboards since then. Next for each Mountpire, catch 2 Duskulls and a Shuppet. Get the item Lax Incest, which reduces the accuracy of all attacks against me by 5%. I also finished most of the Team Magma and Team Aqua sections before heading back to Winona because I need to level up before challenging her. I leveled up my Wobbuffet, taught Toxic to Skarmory, and with my new team ready, time to challenge Winona. Her Swablow's only attacking move is Aerial Ace, and more often than not, it uses Mirror Move, expecting me to use a useful one. Unfortunately for her, my Pokemon don't respect me enough, so I don't have a say in that. It gets even better because her Swablu also likes to use Perish Song. This makes it a perfect battle for my Wobbuffet. Luckily, her Swablu uses Perish Song often. Once it does, I can trap it with Wobbuffet's Shadow Tag ability, by switching into it in order to make it kill itself. Next is her Tropius, and I'd like to bring out Skarmory to get it poisoned with Toxic. Let's see if I can land it. At 6 HP, I finally get it. Skarmory goes down, but Wobbuffet is tanky enough to outlast her Tropius. For Pelipper, I swap between Breloom and Magcargo to beat its contact move Aerial Ace. Once I get it burned, I swap to Azumarill to try and get Rollout. If it attacks once, I know it will be Rollout, and this can win me the battle. Unfortunately, I only get Rollout on the very last turn, so it doesn't get a chance to build up. But that's not a problem, because the key Pokemon in this battle isn't Azumarill, and it isn't Rollout. It's actually my Magcargo with its Flame Body ability. As long as I bait out Aerial Ace, I have an almost guaranteed way to burn all of Winona's team. Even better, my Magcargo decides to attack on her Skarmory, so Flamethrower takes it out. To defeat her Altaria, all I need to do is keep swapping between my Magcargo and Breloom. Both tank her moves really well, that even with her Dragon Dances, it doesn't take them out fast enough. Skarmory is even better than Breloom, but in this attempt, it died before I reached Altaria. With that, I was able to defeat the hardest gym battle so far. But Winona's nothing compared to the next gym. If you thought things were bad so far, wait till you see the double battles. Once again, there is one specific Pokemon that I need to level up in order to have a chance for this fight. At first, I thought Dusclops with Curse would be a good option, but after failing many times, I came up with a better plan using an Altaria. This is the perfect team for Tate and Lisa. The plan is to make Altaria use Perish Song. I select Aerial Ace as my attacking move, hoping that it ignores my orders and use Spirit Song instead. Wobbuffet is there for two reasons. One, baiting Earthquake, which doesn't hit my Altaria, and maybe even killing Claydol since it knows Counter and Mirror Coat. The second important reason is Shadow Tag. Throughout this battle, I only need my Altaria to decide to attack twice. By the time Tate and Lisa are done with their setup, they're dead. Once the first two Pokemon are down, or in this case 3, I repeat the same thing again. But this time, I don't have to worry about them switching. Next we get the TM Earthquake and the health item Chill Bill. And then caught the legendary Pokemon we've all been waiting for, Registeel. Then used one of my Heart Scales to teach it Explosion. It wasn't an easy task, but I managed to get the final badge. I had to start with Explosion, prayed for a lucky rollout, which I never got, and relied on Shedinja for most of the battle. Before heading to Victory Road, I decided to catch Regice and Regirock, taught both of them Explosion, Rollout to Regirock, and Ice Beam to Regice. One last challenge before the Elite Four, Wally. He has several scary Pokemon, so instead of starting the battle with Explosion, I start with Ice Beam to kill his Altaria. I was planning on exploding next, but out of all the moves his Delicate got from Assist, it got Double Team. So now I have to swap, or if I do eventually explode, I could miss. So instead, I decided to bring out Skarmory to try and get it poisoned with Toxic. A few attempts later, I was able to take it down with Explosion. If I'm lucky enough to get Explosion at any point, it almost guarantees a takedown. This only leaves his Gardevoir, the scariest Pokemon on his team, because it usually gets to set up with Calm Mind and destroys my whole team, while they waste time loafing around and going to sleep. I failed to get it poisoned with Skarmory, and even worse, it's about to use its second Double Team. I need to land this Explosion or I'm trying all over again. Now it's time for the Elite Four. One advantage I had versus gym leaders is that I can build a team around their Pokemon, but with the Elite Four, I can't do that. One Pokemon can be the star of one battle, but absolutely useless in the next one. For starters, I had to make a couple of changes to my team, and I'm going back to my Altaria Spirit Song and Wobbuffet combo. I also give every Pokemon in my team a chest to bury, in case they fall asleep, so it gives me a second chance. I also decided to keep the Explosion strat, because not only is it powerful, but it prevents my Pokemon from getting experience during the Elite Four. So I don't have to worry about them learning new moves halfway through, because that lowers my chances of getting the attack that I need, and I can't get to the move deleter during the Elite Four. Finally, in order to give myself an advantage, I only start the battle if I land the first attack, otherwise I reset. With that in mind, and with absolutely no faith in my team, I go in with full confidence that I'll probably not win this one. Time to find out. Let's start with Sydney. As planned, I only start the battle after I land Parasong. One turn after that, I switch in my Wobbuffet. No matter what happens next, Sydney's Mightyana's dead, because he can't switch it out. Now the battle begins. I'll try to take down as many Pokemon as I can with Parasong for as long as I can. Attack. Attack. Attack, you stupid bird! Luckily, Parasong ignores accuracy, so all his double teams were useless. 2 turns later, and his Shiftry's down. The Pokemon I'm scared of the most is Absol, but that's a problem for later. My Regice fails to attack against his Cacturne, but luckily my Altaria decided to attack, and I was able to use Parasong again. This only leaves 2 more Pokemon. My Regirock explodes on the last turn, taking out his Crodont. You would think 1 Pokemon remaining versus my 4, this should be an easy win. Here's the problem with that assumption. Absol starts setting up with Swords Dance. My Registeel is a good counter to its attacks, but if Registeel fails to explode, almost all of my team will die after. one elite member down. With this easy battle, time for things to get even worse, because next is Phoebe, and every single one of her Pokemon is a ghost type. So Explosion is useless in this battle. The best thing about Persong is that it ignores Evasion, Protect, and almost all checks, so her Dusclops Protect don't affect us. I make sure I don't keep my Wobbuffet out more than one turn so that it doesn't take too much damage, and the same with Altaria. So I switch to Registeel since it resists most of Phoebe's attacks. With my Persong strat, I managed to take down her first Dusclop and her second. I was a bit desperate, so I decided to bring out Wobbuffet. I know that Bayonet will go for the super effective move Shadow Ball, so I wanted to try Mirko to use Wobbuffet one last time. The good news is that it does go for it. The bad news is that it didn't attack me that turn. And I ended up dying from a crit, so that was useless. Skarmory got burned without attacking, so this is looking like it's over for me. I decided to bring out my Regirock and give this one last chance with Rollout. Will it be enough? Regirock does decide to attack, and just as I was landing Rollout, Bayonet went for Grudge. This is when something interesting happened. Because I chose Explosion, knowing that if my Pokemon do attack, it will disobey me and go for the other move, the game removed the power points from Explosion instead of Rollout. I'm not sure if that would have made Rollout fail otherwise or not, but I'll take it. Things get even better, as not only do I land Rollout after her second Bayonet uses Double Team, but Regirock goes for 5 Rollouts, winning me the battle. Going into the Elite Four, Phoebe was the one I feared the most, and I had to get really lucky to defeat her. I might have a chance at this after all. But just because I feared Phoebe the most, doesn't mean the battles won't get harder. Next is Glacia, and for this one, I have to get 2 Persongs for her Wall Rain. Only once that happens do I have a chance. Now I have 3 Pokemon to take down, with exactly 3 exploding Pokemon. Regice takes down her Galili, Registeel her second Celio, and Regirock her final Pokemon. Not so fun fact, this is the second time I had to beat Phoebe, because I once again was not recording the first time. That's alright, no need to feel sorry for me. With Drake, I also only continue with the battle if I take down his first 2 Pokemon, but this time with Regice Ice Beam. I take down his Shelgon and Flygon. I wish Salamence would be sent out second, but he never does. Salamence can destroy my entire team with super strong moveset. So I always bring out Wobbuffet for it. This is great, I might have a chance this time. Unfortunately, what happens with Regirock next was painful to watch. Luckily, Registeel was able to use Explosion. One last Pokemon remaining. I'm all out of explosions, so I tried to go for Persong. Once my Altaria lands it, I just need to survive for 2 more turns. Going into the champion, I knew that it would be difficult, and there is a big chance I won't be able to beat him at all with this team. He has 6 Pokemon instead of 5, and my Regice doesn't kill a couple of his team with Explosion, so I have to be careful when to bring it out. This is where my low level catches up to me, and after the challenges I have been through, I started wondering whether Skarmory was the best 6th option in my team. But it's too late now, I'm too far into the Elite Four. I was able to get 3 Persongs before my Altaria goes down to his Whiscash, and this was the best I could ask for. Regice takes down his Ludicolo with Explosion, and I was surprisingly able to use Explosion against his Gyarados before it takes me down. This was the best attempt I was able to get. Maybe if I had a second Altaria as my 6th Pokemon, or if I had leveled up more, I would have had a chance. But with my current team, this was as far as I could get. Using healing items, however, I was able to defeat Wallace. So, was I able to defeat the challenge? I'll leave that up to you. But as a way to redeem myself, I decided, what if I try and take on Steven? Steven at level ranges of 75 to 78, with mostly steel types and a pseudo-legendary, is a different challenge on his own. Let's say I'm allowed to get any National Dex Pokemon and level up as much as I want. Can I defeat Steven with a team of disobeying Pokemon? Let's find out. I'm going to start this battle with one of the strongest Pokemon you've ever seen, a level 5 Ralts. I'll keep resetting until I proc its Quick Claw and hope it attacks, in order to use Destiny Bond. Why am I going through this unnecessary amount of resets? Because I can. Once his Karmi goes down, the real battle begins. Next, I bring out Kyogre. Thanks to Kyogre's ability Drizzle, the rain will always keep on going for the entire battle. This makes my attacks hit harder by 50%, but it also has an additional effect that you will see later. For now, I try to hit as many Hydro Pumps with Kyogre as I can. This resulted in taking down his Aggron, and that's it. Thanks to his healing items, I didn't make it past the Cradily. This leaves one last Pokemon for me, my Ludicolo. To redeem myself, I wanted to keep trying until I could defeat Steven with the least amount of Pokemon, and right now I'm only using 3. Ludicolo is a water Pokemon, and I gave it the held item Leftovers. It also has the ability Rain Dish, and thanks to the rain, it works as a second Leftovers, so I get more chances to attack during the battle. The attack boost also helps. I have it learn Surf and Dive. Dive is helpful when I want to waste more turns to gain more HP, so I really only use it depending on how the attempt is going. I get the luckiest attempt of my life, because Ludicolo ignores my commands and attacks 6 times this battle. With the move deleter trick, that means it uses 6 moves that I exactly wanted it to. Notice how I switched to Dive by actually choosing Surf against his Claydol when it started to get dangerous, just to heal back up. With one last Pokemon remaining, Ludicolo ignores me for the last time. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more of these challenges, then make sure to follow someone else, because no way am I doing that one again. And see you all next time.